friend who could talk with Netflix, and so he offered, because I told him, complete access to my archives, files, whatever they wanted to check about my father's story, because I said, okay, you're gonna tell my father's story, I would like to collaborate, so you will tell the precise story. But they didn't, they weren't interested at all. They said, no, we know everything we want to know. So, it's that's the result. So when I had this first opportunity to watch the series, I was exactly in the process of writing my second book, and I have a delivered date. So I was in a rush, and I called my editor and I said, look, this TV series just got out and I want to see the series. I don't care if I'm going to be late, but I have to pay attention to what it says, etc. And after I watched the series, I wrote a small article about the 28 mistakes that I discovered in the second season, etc. So it became very, very famous, the article. In 3 days, it was, more than 3 million people read the article. They translated the article even in newspapers in India, so
everywhere.
I was just talking about my father that is from Colombia. Nobody knows him, but I thought that nobody, not a lot of people. So it's amazing how many people are interested in this story. And you can see that just because of how many languages I have in my first book already translated. So it's quite a lot of countries and cultures. I went to Greece, I went to Lithuania, France, Italy, Spain. It's
everywhere.
It doesn't matter where. It's a huge. In some cases, respect, admiration, glorification, people who doesn't understand the real meaning of the stories, big fans, people who, they show me their tattoos about my father. I even have some images. Perhaps I will try to share my screen.
Yes, please do.
If I can do it. Let me check. If I can share my... perhaps, Pablo, will you help me to... Pablo, ¿me habilitas, por favor, para la pantalla?
Okay.
Okay, gracias. Just wait a minute, I'm asking Pablo to allow me to share the...
No problem.
Wait, please. Wait, please.
Okay, Pablo.
No rush, man. So do you prefer coffee or tea, Reese?
Whiskey.
Tea with whiskey.
That's good. That's good.
Tea with whiskey. And what's your favorite? Is it guaro? How do you say the Colombian?
Guaro.
Okay.
That's our local drink.
Very good.
Because that's a very dangerous drink, man, because it brings all your passions out. So could make you feel like
Pablo Escobar. Make you feel like Pablo Escobar.
Yeah, like Pablo Escobar. That's very dangerous. So don't drink with responsibility, because you don't know what's going to happen next. So yeah, that's a kind of, it's kind of drink that has this special effect, like it makes you so passionate, even in terms of love or hate. If you want to fight, you're gonna have a fight. If you want to love people, you're gonna be okay. But it's a very extreme effect.
Is it worse than tequila?
I prefer tequila, man. To tell
you prefer tequila?
I prefer tequila, yes.
Wow. And you have been to America before, haven't you?
Excuse me?
You have been to America before?
Yes, in the United States, yes. I went until I was 14 years old,
and that was like your birthday, wasn't it? Was it your birthday when you went there?
In some opportunities, I celebrate my birthday in the United States, but I visited in the first years of the 80s, let's say the beginning of the 80s, with my father, with the famous picture, in front of the White House.
Yeah.
Everybody talks about that picture. And after that, even when my father's visa was canceled, I could return until the age of 14. And
Really?
I visited many times, Disney World most of the times, and enjoying, as a kid, as a small kid, as a teenager too. And let me check what's going on with the screen. Pablo, ¿estás deshabilitada todavía? No sé si la...
Ya está.
Ahora sí. Okay. Now I can. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Pablo.
Wow.
Can you see it now?
Okay. I see that. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to show you some pictures. This is the kind of lecture that I always talk about, because most of the people, they don't know how to call me, if I prefer Juan Pablo or Sebastián, if I feel bad if they call me Juan Pablo. I don't feel anything, I'm the same guy. Doesn't matter for me. Juan, Pablo, Carlos, Jimmy, whatever, it's the same for me. You can call me, because that's what I learned, that we are not our last names or names. And the most important thing is that we are what we declare, what we do. Our actions are truly the things that define us as people, as persons, individuals. So this is the kind of, and this is my father.
Wow.
When he was a very poor man. He was raised in the farm between 8 brothers and sisters, and my grandmother was a school teacher, and my grandfather, he was a farmer, and they were all forced to leave the countryside because of the political violence that were happening at the time. And this picture was taken in La Catedral prison. This is what I just used to call my home, because it's prison, but we felt like home, because it was the only time and opportunity that we have to have some time together with my father and all the family at the same time. So, and this is the kind of luxury we were used to it, and this is why I wrote, below that, just 5 minutes of joy, because you see those images and you say, oh, wow, I want to be part of it. I want to enjoy this. And you think that this lasts for many years. And this was only 5 minutes if you compare this to a whole life. Even if in the piñata, you can see, I have to perhaps to zoom in and to show even a bigger picture of the piñata, but you will see the dollars falling out of the piñata.
I see that.
So the adults were there. The kids were supposed to be there, not the adults. But everybody was like, "Hey, I want a piece of it." So it's a very awkward situation. The famous picture of the United States. Because it was a very. My father was. I don't know what he felt about this picture, but I believe this picture represents, and tell you how welcome he was in the United States.
Absolutely.
Can be, just some meters away from the White House. So in that time, nobody was paying attention. He could do whatever he wanted, and he was most welcome in the United States. And he always has the same picture frame in every place he went. He was like so proud of that. This picture.
It's a good photo.
Yeah, it's a very good photo. And very, very famous too. And this is what he did with the municipal dump. It's people were leaving, and you can see the black and white picture. And so he started a housing project for these families, because there was a big fire to destroy everything in this municipal dump. This family actually lived there. It's very, very, very hard condition for them. So my father, he felt that he could do something for the poorest. And this is where everything started. The media started calling him the Robin Hood. So he was the Robin Hood from Colombia. And he liked the nickname.
He liked the status.
So this is an actual picture of the neighborhood. It says, welcome to the neighborhood, Pablo Escobar. Here you can breathe peace. Which is
Wow.
something very, and of course, and more than 5,000 families live there, and even more today, almost 20,000.
Really?
Almost
And is it
20,000.
still called Barrio Pablo Escobar?
Yes, even if the authorities are against this, then the you know, the inhabitants, they name the neighborhood as they please. So nobody
Wow.
can erase this. And this is something, you know, that I showed to the students, and I told them, look, my father enjoyed only 10% of his life.
Mhm.
Are these your plans for life, for your own life? Come on, we have to do better than this, because this is the reality. You know, my father was just enjoying between the 1980 and 1984. That's it.
Yeah.
It was the 5 minutes of joy, nothing
Mhm.
else. The rest was, you know, gunfights, hiding, running away from the authorities, from the enemies, from Colombia, leaving away your family, your loved ones, your friends, and watching how everybody was dying because of this. So it's craziness. Like, how can you consider as a success case if you look at
Exactly.
it? And of course, the Monaco building, when we used to
Yeah.
live here in this beautiful building, well, it was like a two-floor penthouse with um, more than 1,000 square meters of just the penthouse. You can see the mountains, and everything we
Beautiful.
lived and we experienced here was very good. But I knew that everything we have never lasts.
Of
So this is
course.
how we get up in the morning of, you know, January 13th of 1988. A car bomb exploded from the Cali Cartel, 700 kilos of dynamite, almost
Wow.
kill us. I was living in the upper right, that you can see actually the bed, you know, where I was sleeping with my mother. And so the roof fell and almost killed me, couldn't breathe. So it was a very thought situation. And as you can see, my little sister's bed, you know, she was about to drink her milk, and you know, the explosion in the window frame. You can see this. Nobody put the window frame there. It was the bomb. Who actually just did this with
Okay, blew it
every
out.
single glass. You know, it's a miracle that nothing happened to us. You know,
Mhm.
so. And so this is some of the stories that people doesn't knew, and the stories that are related with, you know, I was with my father, and we were actually starving, you know, because we had more than $4 million next to us, you know, in cash, but the police were after us, and we couldn't
Wow.
just buy a piece of bread, man, and a bottle of water. Perhaps we have more money to buy every stock of food in the whole city, but we didn't have the freedom
Couldn't have
to.
access to that.
Yeah, so it's that's the thing that I want. That's my point. You know, what's the point of having $4 million, $10 million in cash if you are starving? Man? You're supposed to have this money to fulfill these needs, but you cannot. So this is the truly experiences, and this is how my father used to treat me. You know, he gave me a lot of love, and at the same time, I knew the bandit. You know, and the advices between one man and the other. I had to live with this reality. This is another picture that I remember a lot, and it reminds me a story. You know, I grew up with a lot of killers. You know, I grew up, and I call them my killer nannies in a way. So I asked them, what was the best thing you learned from my father? And they told me, we learned from him that we have to be very good fathers with our sons and daughters. So my father and my mother raised me with a lot of love, and I think that's the big difference between,
Absolutely.
you know, being raised with a lot of violence. Of course, my father wasn't practicing the human values that he was trying to show me inside our home. I know perfectly well that outside he wasn't doing the same thing, but he was
Yeah, of
just
course.
trying to comply with with just being a good father with me, and giving
Mhm.
me, in his own perspective, what he thought was a good example. And so that's the big difference between me and the rest of the killers, because they didn't have the opportunity to be raised in a family and be
Yeah.
surrounded by a lot of love. That's a big
Mhm.
difference. That's why they were raised with a lot of fear and hate to everybody. So my father, imagine, he gave them power, money, and a gun, and they were, and he treated them very, very, very well. So they were willing to die for him. That's
Yes.
how he managed to build his own army, you know. And this is the kind of, the narco series effect on the youngest people and audience. This is a Russian guy, 26-year-old guy, who shared this with me in the social media. I receive like this, like more than 3,000 messages every single day from people saying, "Hey, I just watched the series, so cool. I want to be like your dad." And say, I don't know if it's as cool as you thought. I think you have to think about it twice. And this is a photo that reminds me a conversation that I had with my father about drugs. That's another very important thing to talk about. Addictions and how drugs affect our body, our family, our destiny in many, many ways. So I had this conversation with him when I was 8 years old, 9 years old, more or less. And he told me a brave man is the one who doesn't do drugs. So, a phrase like this coming from Pablo Escobar, the guy responsible for 80% of the
The
drug
drugs.
trafficking business in the whole world, is like, okay, okay, I have to pay attention to you. And he
Pay
said,
attention, listen.
yeah, he used to say to me, cocaine is a poison to sell, not to take.
Hope you're enjoying this podcast. There's a word from our sponsor, Rocket Money. The other day, I had to cancel 3 Amazon Prime memberships. I had a personal on the UK Amazon, US Amazon, company account, US Amazon, UK Amazon. Do you understand how hard it is to cancel these bloody things? That's why Rocket Money makes these things so much easier, formerly known as Truebill. The app shows all your subscriptions in one place and cancels what you don't want for you. Rocket Money can even find subscriptions you didn't know you were paying for. Just like with me, with my 4 Amazon Prime memberships, you may find out you've been at least double charged for a subscription. To cancel a subscription, all you've got to do is press cancel and Rocket Money takes care of the rest. Get rid of useless subscriptions with Rocket Money now. Go to rocketmoney.com/Sean, SHAUN. Seriously, it could save you hundreds per year. That's rocketmoney.com/Sean, SHAUN. Thank you for supporting our sponsor, Rocket Money. Links in the description box. Cheers.
So it's he was very aware that he was selling poison to the people. So that's why he didn't. He wasn't a consumer,
Yeah.
Most of the drug dealers, they know what they are selling, so they don't do drugs. And this is the reconciliation process with most of the families, the Galan brothers in the upper left, and the guy in red t-shirt, it was a policeman. My father killed like more than 500 policemen only in one single month in Medellin city, man. So this guy showed me a picture, 150 of his mates from the police
Mm-hmm.
and from the partners of the police. And he told me, look, only 3 survived, including me,
Unbelievable.
on the picture. So it was very hard to me. And so now we became close friends. The picture where the guy I'm giving the hug, it's Jorge Lara, the son of the Minister of Justice, killed by my father in the year 1984. And as you can see below in the left, I'm with Miguel Rodríguez. I'm just celebrating with just a small glass of whiskey. He's another son of the Cali Cartel, and this picture was taken in Cali, actually. So
Really?
I was supposed to be there already before the first drink, but we were there. We choose peace, we choose reconciliation, respect.
Yeah.
So this is something that is not a theory. When I'm talk about peace, when I want to talk about peace, I don't want to talk about theories. I want to talk about making peace and taking peace very seriously in our life.
Yeah.
and it's not just, you know, something that could happen, some kind of romantic idea. No, it's happening. You know, it's like in the black and white picture we have Aaron Seal, the son of Barry Seal. The guy was killed by his father was killed by my father in the year 1986 in the United States. His father, I don't know if you had the opportunity to watch one of the Tom Cruise, one of his last movies, Made in America, something like that.
I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen that.
Well, it's the story of his dad. You know,
Really?
it's exactly his son, Aaron Seal, the guy with the sunglasses. We became very close friends, and we developed a relationship that I'm proud of. Yeah, and the lady next to the older picture, the last picture, is she's a journalist, and she was kidnapped by my father for almost 3 months, you know, with among of other partners. So as you can see, there's a lot of stories and violence everywhere, but also a lot of hope. And that's something truly amazing, man. Truly amazing that people who have suffered so much, and even though they are willing to forgive and not to forget, because that's not the point. You know, forgiving is not about forgetting. That's a different thing. It's about healing.
These are the books.
Some examples of my books and you know, these are some examples about my work as an architect.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I'm showing you this and why I show this to the public is because this is the kind of pictures and images that I want my son to inherit from.
Yeah.
You know? Not the violence, not
the
blood.
Pablo Escobar and
Something different that we can create our own destiny. We can design our own destiny, even against all odds. You know, against
absolutely.
it. So this is pretty much all, man. And choose well and think twice. You know,
it's unbelievable. It's just a magnificent story.
And this is a short way to. I have a longer presentation with some short videos and examples, you know. But just for you to know, I wanted to share with you the kind of keynote presentation that I share with most of the public. This is a short one, but I think it has everything, the basic things for sure.
Unbelievable. Thank you so much for sharing.
My pleasure.
Pictures there that I've never seen before. I do follow it, so I've seen quite a few of them, but it was nice, you know, the one with your dad.
That's the idea, man, that not everything will be as easy to get, you know. That's the idea, to show something different.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you still feel like a burden from your father? Do you somewhat feel unsafe when you travel in Colombia, or do you feel safe now?
Well, I think it's a risk. It's always a risk, you know. It's about, you know, believing, but also about experiencing that most of the people who approach to me, and so far 100% of the people, they thank me, you know, for what I'm doing. They don't see me as a threat. So that's something very good for me. Even my father's enemies, nobody see me as a threat. They know I have good intentions, that I'm trying to do something positive with this, nothing against anyone. So they respect that, you know, and you will be surprised. My father's victims is something very hard to accept when they say thank you. You know, it's something that you cannot process that word, because, you know, coming from a victim is very hard in a personal way. How could you say thank you? Because, you know, my father only gave you pain, violence, and lots of reasons to hate. And and you're thanking me for that? Come on, it's like I cannot process that. But it's very common. But it brings also a lot of hope, you know, because we truly understand that when a victim can say thank you, they are, of course, they know they are not my victims, but they are truly aware of that. But at the same time, they are saying me, thank you for taking responsibility, even for the things that you didn't
somebody
do.
else's actions. Yeah.
So, and that's something we should learn from, as humanity. It's not only for this kind of cases, but for everything. We have to take responsibility, even for the things we are not responsible for.
Yeah,
I think that's another good lesson from this kind of events or something.
Yeah.
Sorry, thank you very much, my friend, for your time and collaboration. Anything else you want to ask, please feel free.
I think that's everything. I think you covered a lot of things, and it's been really good to find out more about you and hear it from you directly. So, like I say, I think this platform is amazing. So it's for us to connect properly and brings us a lot closer. So,
I think we should explore this possibility to perhaps to offer to the audience, if they have